Welcome to Pocket Watch Podcast. I'm Zach,
Cruz,
Jake, and we're fucking Pocket Watch Podcast.
Yes, sir. Laugh at us or learn with us. We're here to grow.
And growing, we're fucking doing, man. Welcome to Pocket Watch Podcast. I'm Zach,
Jake,
Cruz.
Remix.
Did we mix it? I was supposed to say Cruz.
Yeah, I don't know what happened there, but I was like, okay, Cruz, you gonna say anything?
I've been fucking up.
I waited. I was like, you know what? I gotta go.
I've been messing up on that. You know why? It's because we don't sit in the order we say it anymore.
He used to be you.
No.
I'm so stupid. I can't even mentally get over that. We've been doing it for 2 years now.
Yes.
And I mess up on 2 years?
Yeah.
On the 2, on the 2 year too, bro.
Yeah, this is our 2-year episode. If you guys don't know, thank you guys for the continuous love, support, and everything else. We do appreciate you guys tuning in weekly for us for 2 fucking years.
2
bro.
years, man. 104 episodes. 2 years, weekly. We're here for you guys. If you guys didn't believe us then, believe us now, man. We're doing this. This is what we love. This shit, man. We're taking it up another level on different platforms and whatnot. On this platform, on YouTube, Spotify, Apple, all of it's awesome, man. We got some cool things coming to help us do this longer, which is gonna be great. We got some good collabs that are coming up, some
Sponsorships.
Yeah, it's gonna be great, man. Some good guests that we got locked in already, and it's year 2, man. We talked about it a little bit like an episode or 2 ago, but it was about doing something 100 times, doing something 101 times, bro. Like 2 years is the 104th episode. Like we're trying to hit a stride now. I could feel it too.
Yeah,
I could feel it. Like the weekly conversations and stuff are different. Like it's more of a machine right now. Like we're just gonna see where we could take it, man.
Yeah, definitely. We definitely had some.
It's a machine right now.
Recently, we've been having a lot more momentum kicking in. We got a new fucking studio set up. If you guys peep, we do got the new lights up in too.
Yeah.
If you guys don't watch the video side, go check out the video side on YouTube and go see what it looks like. It's a little bit different than what you guys have seen in the past.
And if you're watching on YouTube,
I was
just
say that.
give it a like, man. Make sure you like
and make sure you're fucking subscribing, man. We're trying to make moves over here. We have to hit 1,000 subscribers to start doing different things. And
we unlock quality on the channel when we hit 1,000 subscribers as well. So it doesn't just benefit us and like certain things that we could do on the channel, but it just benefits like how we could monetize and all that. Not just that, it's benefits like premieres, trailers, like shit like that we could do. Like that's gonna be
it just makes me work more, guys. So it's okay. Just get us to 1,000 so I can work more for you guys.
Just subscribe right now so Zach could work more. If you want Zach to work more, subscribe right now.
Yeah, you can sabotage my personal life and my relationship. It's all good.
Yeah, man. But
thank you guys.
Thank you so much,
Honestly.
man. 2 years, and look how we are right now, bro. I was going down a rabbit hole on our stuff, like our posts and stuff like that, and I was just looking at like conversations we were having a year ago, like when we did the 1 year episode, when we had John on and we did the 1 year episode. I was just looking at like DMs we had around that time. I was looking at our posts around that time and stuff, and I was just like, man, we thought we were doing it, and we were doing what we could. We were doing the best we could.
We were grinding.
We were still doing. We were being consistent. But the thing about consistency is like, in my mind, it's not just doing it, right? It's like you are consistent, so you're like getting better at the same time.
Yeah, that's true.
Right? So like if you're not consistent, you're not getting better. Is how I kind of see it. Not like just keep doing it consistent and you're gonna blow up or some shit like that. It's like no. Like you gotta like get better and better and better and better, but that doesn't happen unless you're doing something consistently. You know? And I think that's what we've done. You know, like bro, our posts are different. Our like our engagement's different. Our channel's different, you know what I mean? Our studio setup's different, bro. Our guests are different. Like I love everything we're doing at year 2 compared to what we're doing at year 1, and I love what we were at year 1 compared to like 6 months in or whatever.
It's crazy, man, because when we first got started, you know, like I I could see us hitting year 2, but it's just crazy now that we're actually here. It feels so different.
It's
and
like from year 1 to year 2, it flew.
Man.
and it doesn't even
Year 1 was like,
yeah.
we worked for year 1.
No, yeah, I can definitely agree with that. I felt like year 1 definitely. It felt like a year.
Yeah.
But year 2, man, it feels like we were just celebrating year 1 3 months ago.
Yeah.
And that was kind of crazy, which I didn't realize. Like the only reason I even kind of remembered he was even coming close is because on the podcast side, whenever I do the video, I'm like, okay, episode 99, 100.
Yeah.
I even had to come to Cruise. I'm like, bro, we got to record our 2-year episode. It's coming right now. We actually had episodes already recorded, and we had to come back and record this one to drop in between because we forgot about year 2.
Just like episode 100.
Yeah, we were like, oh shit. So we squeezed this in. Sorry, Brody.
Yeah, no, I mean, bro, like, and I love too, bro. Like year 1, we're figuring out, like, we're getting a feel for how we schedule. We're getting a feel for like how we promote. We're getting a feel for like what we're gonna talk about, how we're gonna talk about shit. Like, right? Like we need to incorporate our weekly success and failures here and there. Again, here, you know. But I like how we don't do it the way we did it anymore. You know, like we've just been feeling shit out on what we do and how we do it, and like year 2 came like that. We went through after year 1, it's like, man, all types of different shit that we had. Like all these types, great guests, great conversations, started doing clips. I did the stand-up shit. Like, it's a cool year 2 for our podcast, man. Like, the TikTok shit blowing up, like, that's year 2. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
I would easily say,
let's go.
I would easily say that definitely our biggest growth and everything like that has been in year 2.
We were on the Wet Slap. We were on Elizabeth's podcast at Hi Hello Labs. You know, like, we had some cool little, you know.
You were also on Profession Session.
We got that one. It hasn't came out yet, but yeah, that was like the experience.
And stay tuned. We're about to be on another episode in what the 6th.
Podfest. We did Podfest.
Yeah, we went to a fucking Podfest convention, podcast convention. That was dope. I definitely think we should do that next year.
Like
I think
that,
that was.
Yeah, that's an experience, bro. Like I'm trying to think what episode it was, but maybe February of that was year 1. That was year 1.
What's that?
No, me proposing.
That was That was year 1.
That was year 1.
Not year 2.
Yeah,
damn, bro. you got to tighten up. He does have a wedding date now, though.
So you know what's funny though is Frankie. He's in year 2. That's the episode before year 2. So Frankie makes it. Brody doesn't make it. No. Brody's the first episode of year 3.
Yeah, that's why I told him. That's why I said sorry, Brody.
Yeah,
it's okay though. That's a good way to start year 3. That was a good conversation, long conversation.
Man, and we're so much better. Like even behind the scenes when you talk about like, yo, we're meeting up this time, this day, like scheduling shit. You know what I mean? Like we're getting so much better than we were year 1, and that's something we talked about on that episode. It was like how much of a struggle that's been, you know, like scheduling and meeting up and stuff like that.
It has been tough the last couple weeks just because of me, so I apologize, guys.
No, but we're good, bro. Too. Like in comparison, bro, like man, we're making strides, bro.
Yeah. I think one of the reasons why we've gotten better with it just because we tend to have more guests available. And now we're kind of like, we don't really stress about guests. So like if we can't make something work, then we're just like, all right, fuck it, whatever.
It's those clips, bro. They're helping.
Yeah, versus before it was like, hey, oh no, this person's going to come on this day. We have to be here. Now it's just kind of like, if it fits our schedule, fits our schedule. If not, then if not. Unless you're like Lil Wayne or something like that.
Yeah, man. And this studio, like when you talk about, like when we first started recording and then year 1 episode was like a good, like that was our upgrade studio, you know, and then year 2, look how we look.
Yeah.
We're more comfortable.
Yeah.
Man, like got the
we
lighting,
got
the couch, like all that stuff, bro.
Bro, I feel bad because you guys spent almost 2 years sitting on those fucking bar stools, bro.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm saying.
I did 1 episode, bro, and that shit was
Jacob said way more comfortable. I was like, why? And now I realize what you're
bro,
talking about.
My ass is always hurting every time I'm sitting on those chairs.
This guy Jacob would go home limping every single time.
I swear.
His girl's like, what do you be doing at cruises?
Dude, we be an hour and 20 minutes in.
Why you got so many hemorrhoids?
Moving all the damn time. No.
Yeah. Nah, it's good, bro. I'm proud of us. That shit.
Big facts.
2 years, man. Thank you to y'all for listening. Those of y'all that's been listening since day 1, let's go. You know, come on, man. Next step, next level.
Yeah.
Anyways,
I appreciate it because without you guys, we would be talking to nobody. So we definitely do appreciate you guys. We love you guys, and
Let's see what
Hopefully you
therapy
guys
takes us.
support us for another 2 more years.
Yeah.
Because we're going to be here.
2 more?
Yeah, we're going to be. We ain't going to be here in 2 years.
No, you said like just 2.
Nah, I mean, of course. Next year I'm going to say 3 more, and then next year I'm going to say 4 more. This is infinite.
Maybe. No, I'm just fucking
it's
with you.
possible. It's
never
possible.
Yeah, man. Keep supporting because you never know what could happen, man.
I mean, if just give us like 5 times this time, and then,
Well, 'cause
we're going to be Joe Rogan. So
Bro,
it's
like a year from now, 2024 March or April or whatever the case is, I mean, nothing could change. But 2 years, we could be having some babies, like shit like that. So like for me, that's when we get a studio or something.
Yeah.
So we need to keep up pace with shit we got going on in
Start
life
growing.
to help us keep doing this. You know what I mean?
No, I think 2 years of studio would be definitely ideal.
Yeah. And easier. to
We could do a studio right now, but I'm just coughing up a lot of money for my pilot shit right now, so I'm not trying to put anything else anywhere else besides flying.
Yeah.
But yeah,
But yeah, where did you go, Jacob? Jacob just got back from vacation.
I went to like Helen, Georgia area.
Helen, Georgia?
Yeah, like kind of the northern part of Georgia.
Hell,
Well, Tallulah
hell
Falls
in,
is-
hell in.
Helen.
Like
Helen.
you were in hell.
No, not Helen. Helen.
I'm
I
just
mean,
fucking
it's
with
fucking
you.
cold as shit though. Like hell. I mean,
Yeah, we just had a cold.
yeah. It was 26 up there.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
that's rough, man.
It was
Did you guys hear about Lake Tahoe, California?
No.
They got over 53 feet of snow this year, and just as of like 3 days ago, they were sitting with 10 feet of snow. There's people like there was a bunch of stories. Like I saw a picture where like the fire department had to go and service a fire hydrant, and they had to like dig. They said anywhere between like 10 to 14 feet to be able to get to the fire hydrant. And they had like a fucking extension ladder in the hole, which is like what you used to get to the roof. They had the extension ladder in there. And there was also another story, kind of sad, but some older lady died because she couldn't get her medication. She couldn't even leave the house.
That's real, bro.
Yeah,
that's
man, it's
yeah,
sad.
no story.
Man, and what's crazy is because a lot of people were like, "Oh, why didn't they have somebody with a snowmobile come out?" So that, and I guess the snow was so soft they couldn't even drive snowmobiles on it because of how soft it was.
Just so much
And
at once.
yeah.
and I'm like, this is where the Cajun Navy would have came in with some airboats.
Word, bro.
Some airboats on fucking snow, bro. That'd be fun as fuck, bro.
It would be.
Would that work?
Hell yeah, it would work.
If it was 10 foot, yeah. Because
That sounds incredible.
it'll pat down to like 4 foot.
No,
lowest.
I think the airboats are probably lighter than a snowmobile in like a per square footage
Right,
type like a
right.
situation, or per square inch.
That's
I
true.
see.
It's
that.
because it's such a wide thing, I think it would do better on snow and actually than like a snowmobile would, especially in soft snow. Now, if
Yeah.
it's like hard packed, that's different. But soft snow, hell yeah, that's just gonna be.
Oh, I didn't know you went there. I thought you went to Colorado.
No. I mean, it was a last minute trip, so we just went there for our parents. I freaking hate Georgia.
Really?
And I think it's nice. I would live in Georgia because of the landscape and the fucking beauty of it. Like,
Yeah.
it just has a certain scene to it.
I want to go to Savannah. I heard Savannah, Georgia is dope.
Probably there's a bunch of bars I've heard over there.
Yeah, and
stuff
you could like
that.
walk around with beer and stuff, kind of like Louisiana
Yeah,
and stuff like
yeah.
that. Or New Orleans, I guess. I don't know about Louisiana.
NOLA,
NOLA.
Yeah, Louisiana's New Orleans, isn't it?
Yeah.
New Orleans.
New Orleans is Louisiana.
Shit, yeah, it's Louisiana.
New Orleans is a city inside Louisiana.
Anyways. All right, so what are we going to talk about today? What's the meat and potatoes today?
I thought you had something for us.
No, we could end with that. That's the funny shit. Or do you want to get into that? Because we could take
Let's
time
get
with
into
that
that.
one.
We can just take time with that one. That's all good.
And then end with the real shit?
What's the real shit?
The bank stuff that you were talking about.
Oh, you want to talk about that?
Oh, no. Let's talk about, all right, so we're starting a segment too. Those of you that don't know, Zach does Uber on the side all the time.
To make extra money.
And he just gets these great stories in the Uber.
Oh, you want to talk about the one I just told you
Yeah,
guys?
but I mean, like, just like not everything is good enough for the podcast, right?
Yeah.
But like the fact that some things are good enough for the podcast is hilarious. That's the amount of good conversations Zach gets while he does Uber.
Hey man, you'd be surprised at the people that I meet too, man. I meet like a lot of CEO of companies. I meet like a lot of I met politicians. I met some big people, and I think that's mainly because like I'm in the Orlando area,
Yep.
and I specifically drive like the international drive where the Orange County Convention Center area is, and there's like a lot of big conventions that come in here. So it's just kind of like nature of the odds that I pick up somebody that's doing something dope that are here for conventions,
Yeah, man.
So I meet some cool people doing that shit.
But recently, and we'll say his full government name. No, I was just playing.
I don't even know. I don't even
we
know
don't
his
even
name.
know it. But recently, so that we're starting a segment on the podcast. You ready? Year 2, we're starting a new segment, and it is called Uber with Zach, right? Uber stories with Zach.
He's gonna have a camera attached to his driver.
You know what's funny? I actually have a dash cam that I just haven't installed in my new car.
Bam!
But
So give it an applause. Give it an applause. Ready? Everybody, boys and girls, men and women, please gather around for Pocket Watch Podcast's new segment, Uber Stories with Zach.
Woo!
That's funny as
Yo. And then you have the genuine clip, a segment from your dash cam of your conversation.
that's funny as fuck. This man said Uber stories with Zach. That's
Okay,
funny.
so the Uber Stories with Zach. All right, so most recent one that's pretty interesting, that's funny, and I like it, is there was a dude from Lockheed Martin in the backseat.
Yeah, so I picked up a guy who's an aerospace engineer for Lockheed Martin, and he was telling me that he was part of like the project to build like the F-35 fighter jet, and like I was talking with him like, oh, that's so cool, blah blah. And how the conversation started up is because we were driving and I had saw the new Universal being built, and I'm like, it's funny that they build the new Universal right behind Lockheed Martin. I was like, that's kind of a weird place to build a fucking amusement park, is behind like a fucking governmental.
The one on Sand Lake.
Yeah, the one on Sand Lake. And he started laughing. He was like, oh, that's funny that you say that. I work at Lockheed. I was like, oh, you work at this one? He's like, no, I work at another one. And I'm like, oh, that's cool, whatever. Then he was like, yeah. I was like, oh, like, so what do you do there? And he was like, oh, I'm an aerospace engineer for them. And I'm like, oh shit. So do you like? I was like, what exactly do you do? Do you like work with like the aircraft? And I'm interested in the whole aircraft perspective because I like the aviation industry.
Weekly success for Zach. Homie's getting some flight hours.
Yeah,
and
stuff. I did my first training flight this week too, so that was dope. But anyway, so he was like, "Oh yeah, actually, I was part of the group of people the team that built that was part of the F-35, which is the fighter jet." And I was talking to him like, "Oh, that's really cool." And I kind of got into like the conversation with him because if you guys don't know, a lot of the military technology that is used in like the public known information, a lot of those airplane technologies are like 20 to 50 years old. And I was telling him, I was like, I think it's really funny how we're still using technology that are like 20 to 50 years old. Like I was like, and the government tries to act like it has no new technology. Like it don't come out to the public and say anything. And then just recently, I forgot who it was. I think it was like Japan or China or somebody. One of them, they announced that they had just launched I think it was like a 5th or a 6th gen fighter jet, and we're like, that's the whole generation above where we're currently at. And I told him, I was like, it wouldn't surprise me if the government is like 2 or 3 generations ahead from what's being announced, but the government just isn't telling anybody. And then he was basically like, what he said was, he's like, I would say your assumption is safe to say that is pretty correct. He goes, the government's not going to tell people anything unless it needs to tell people things. And so I was like, oh, so you're saying like we have like
they don't have to come out with like the best technology until it has to.
Yeah, exactly.
When it has to. I wonder what pushes that envelope.
A war? You know?
Yeah.
Like maybe you got
I don't know.
force.
And I don't know if talking about this, I don't know if you guys seen, but the international criminal what the fuck was it called?
United Nations.
No, we get to that.
We'll talk about that. But yeah, basically they fucking put a warrant out for Vladimir Putin.
Yeah.
For fucking abduction of Ukraine children.
Well, real quick and we're gonna have to repeat that because this is how we clip. All right?
Yeah.
But as far as Zach's story, as far as Uber stories with Zach, when you told me that story, I was like, I thought about 3 things. The first one was there's some documentary on the I don't know if it was American United or whatever it was, but there was an airline that kept choosing not to upgrade because of costs and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. They just didn't upgrade appropriately, and that was the one that had a bunch of crashes and stuff like that.
Yeah, that was a Chinese airline.
No, it was like a big one.
A big one?
It was American or United. I don't know
Alaska
which one
Airlines?
it was. No, it was American Alaska. Or United. It was one of the big ones, and they had a lot. So when I say a lot, I'm sure there's smaller airlines with more crashes, but for this big of an airline, it had like 4 or 5 within the span of like 5 or 6 years or something like that, which is like, that's not good.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a documentary out on it or whatever, and it was all about them not upgrading appropriately with what's currently available. Other airlines were upgrading appropriately, but for what was currently available, it's crazy that they don't have to.
No.
You see what, like, to an extent,
Yeah.
to a point.
Yeah.
Like, they could technically have the lowest requirement
Yeah.
in all areas if they really wanted to cut costs. And, like, that's not the place to be cutting
But
costs.
I know what you're talking about, but during that time also, the FAA regulations also changed a lot.
Because of them, maybe.
Because of what happened with that. So, like, they kind of, like, strictened up their stuff. And the whole thing with the FAA industry is that they're really focused on, like, redundancies. Like, for example, like airplanes, they have two magnetos. Mm-hmm. And magnetos are what supplies spark to the engine.
Okay.
And each cylinder has two spark plugs.
Okay.
For this reason. So, like, if one set of spark plugs fucking fail, you have a whole nother set of spark plugs. And if one magneto fails, you have a whole nother magneto to fucking supply the engine. And these magnetos run independently from the electrical system. So you can have your whole electrical system fail, and your engine will still run.
Right.
They're all about redundancy. Do you really need two magnetos?
Backups.
No.
Backups.
But they have them. Yes, exactly.
Yeah, which is good, but they're not about what? Like keeping up to upgrades or something maybe like that? Or
no, man.
That?
No, they're super, super, super strict. Actually, before you run up.
Now they are, though.
Yeah, so before you take off, you basically do what's called a run up. So you put your engine to, like, not max RPMs, but pretty damn near close to max RPMs. You put it pretty high up there. You slam on the brakes, and basically you run the engine up. Make sure that the oil pressure doesn't drop. Make sure none of your fuel pressure doesn't drop or nothing like that. And that's another thing I'll get to in a second for the fuel. They make sure none of that drops. And then you also test your magnetos. So your engines, so you have, like, two things you can click on. So you go to, like, the left magneto. You're supposed to see, like, a little bit of a drop. And then, but if you see more than, like, 150 or so, then that means that you have to, it's cut. Now, then you test, you bring it back up. And then you test, like, the right one. If you're supposed to have, like, a little bit of a drop, but not much. But so, like, there's procedures, like, there's full checklists for everything you're supposed to do. They even have electrical fuel pump, and also there's like basically like an internal, like, the engine will pull, like, through gravity and stuff like that. Like, the engine will actually suck its own fuel, so you don't need an electrical fuel pump, but it's there as, like, a redundancy.
Yeah,
just so you have it just in case. So there's so much redundancies with planes and everything like that, and that's one of the reasons why I always say that it would be interesting to ever see, like, I think we could do flying cars, which, I mean, there's actually a company that already started doing flying cars. I forgot what it was called. But it would be really interesting to see because the maintenance procedures are so fucking strict. The engines have to be overhauled after X amount of hours depending on the engine.
Maybe more strict when you have a certain amount of souls too. You know what I mean?
They're more strict on the heavy airlines. They're way more strict. Like, there's certain bolts that have to be replaced or tightened every X amount of hours of flight.
But okay, back to the story.
Yeah, sorry.
So that was one thought. No, that was great.
I just nerded out.
We gave that 100% of that. That was the one thought. The other thought was, of course, government always has, like, all of our best inventions, right? The government had first.
Yeah.
Right? Like the microwave, the telephone, like the cell phone, shit like that. Like what we were walking around with in the 90s, those big things, they had those in the 70s, 80s probably.
The B-52 bomber, which is, like, known as, like, the beast of beasts for bombing, that was built in the 50s. And it's the government still utilizes those. Yeah. And the technology has not really changed much on them. Right. It's the fucking 50s, bro. Yeah. That was fucking 70 years ago, and that's still one of the most.
How about this one? I was just me and Christiane were just talking about it because we were driving up to, like, Sanford, then we had to go all these different places, and she was like, it's crazy how, like, now these days we could go anywhere we want. Like, back in the day, if you couldn't find a computer to print out Google Maps or something like that, you know what I mean? Like, or quick, what is it? MapQuest. Mm-hmm. You know how you used to print out MapQuest and stuff like that? Like, if you couldn't do that, then you really couldn't just go anywhere.
No, you could. You just had to know how to use. So people actually carry paper maps. My grandpa used to.
Map.
Yeah. My grandpa used to travel a lot.
Yeah, that's the road.
It was just like, it was way simpler back in the day. Like, when you get into town, it's different. But traveling the main roads, you would just learn.
Definitely not as efficient, though. Like, oh my gosh. Like, GPS is crazy. But, like, what we have to the masses now, or what businesses are able to capitalize off of, or whatever, more or less, was done well before. So while we were using QuickBook or MapQuest, they been had GPS and shit like that.
Funny enough, my stepfather's a truck driver, and what he does before he leaves, he pulls his iPad out and goes, "Okay, all right, I'm gonna take 75. Okay, to this. To
Yeah.
that. Okay, cool. Let's go. Puts his iPad away and drives.
So he does the map.
Does not use
Some
GPS.
people can't. They're like, no.
He does not use GPS. He knows that he needs to get off on. He's gonna take 75 to this road. He doesn't do exits either.
But why? Why the fuck would you not do that?
Because that's what he does. When he drives, he grew up driving a semi truck. You know, he's been a truck driver since he was 18.
But he just likes it. Then at
At this
Well,
point,
this is what he does. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And like, if you like, sometimes I've driven with him, and I'll pull my phone out and get the GPS. I'm like, oh, take the exit right. He's like, no, I'm not going to take the exit here. I get all pissed off and like, you know what? Tell me where I need to go and shit like that. And then we hit a fucking traffic jam, and then I'm like, yeah, bitch.
Yeah.
and that's why you use GPS.
Yes, exactly. But it's not. He traveled. He can travel by just looking before.
But the government 1,000% has better shit than
by
what they're
far.
using now. We'll see in 20 years or something like
by
that,
far.
right? Which
By
is
far.
also interesting. Part of that conversation, which was the third thing that popped up in my mind, was and you didn't even get to that part of the conversation. Go ahead and get to that.
Actually,
part.
I have a fun fact too. I don't know if you guys know, but if a road ends in an odd number, it runs north and south, and if it ends in an even number, it runs east to west.
So like you're talking about like 95.
Fun facts with Zach.
But yeah, I just thought that's something that I remembered. That's interesting.
That's awesome, bro.
So like 95, 75 north and south,
27,
528,
Highway 60.
408.
He's
Yeah.
right. Highway 60,
Yeah.
Highway 27. Oh shit.
Even
All right.
even numbers run east west, odd run north south. Anyways,
Yo, you just blew my mind.
Yeah, it's a good fact.
That clip is going viral.
so yeah, I had the ride with the guy, and the guy was pretty cool. We were just kind of talking, and he was like, "Oh, he's like, you pretty much made a correct assumption with that." He goes, "But the government's not going to unveil anything unless they really have to." He was like, "The technology that's out right now is absolutely insane," and he was saying the technology that like civilians see is easily close to like 15 to 20 years behind what the military currently has.
Right.
So he was like, if you just think about it, you guys just got 5G. So
Yeah.
think about what the military is utilizing. Mm-hmm. He's like, think about camera qualities. He goes, you think what you guys have? He goes, think about what the government's utilizing.
Oh.
He's like, we can be 60, 70,000 feet and zoom in on your fucking face and see the freckle on your face.
Yeah.
And he was like, it's like the camera quality is absolutely insane. But anyway, so we were talking, and then I forgot exactly how we got into into the portion of like the aliens, or whatever. But we were just kind of talking, and I had talked about how like the whole NASA kind of unveiled like the whole alien thing, stuff like that. And he was like, yeah. But like we were getting ready to end the ride, and we were getting close, and he goes, he's like, just kind of drop a little bomb on you. He goes, you see how like right now we're seeing so much frequent like
Alien
UFO
sightings, UFO sightings,
UFO spottings,
yeah.
and all these different things, and all these weird aviation vessels flying through the air and stuff like that. He's like, I'm gonna drop a little gem for you. He goes, go ahead and think about it like this. He goes, the military could easily have that technology and be testing it, and now that's why everybody's starting to see it so much more now, is because you guys have that we have that technology. He goes, and also, what was the other thing he had said? He had said, and that's one of the reasons why the government was so quick to be like, yep, we got aliens. Aliens exist.
Yeah.
He said that's why they were so quick to be like, yep, aliens exist, is because they knew they were going to start testing a lot more stuff. So now nobody's saying this is the military. Everybody's saying this is the aliens.
This is something. Which is like, how do they? Okay, so it's also like, I love this, bro.
Yeah.
This is amazing. All right, so in my mind, I'm hearing that, right, and it's like that's crazy because we've talked about in other episodes where now the government's coming out saying like. They have Navy people saying in practice we are getting these sightings and we don't know what it is, right? There's a big court hearing about there's a guy that jumped on a show that I watch that is a government official or whatever that talked about, and they televised it too. It was a court hearing about actually no, they didn't televise it.
Yeah.
But
it was recorded?
they talked about it.
Like a
a lot of
whistleblower?
people were able to talk about it, but they literally had a court hearing talking about what is going on with these alien sightings, right? Or what is going on with these Navy people saying these sightings? What is going on with all like we need to figure this out kind of court hearing, and it's so crazy because it's like they're smart enough, and he even talked about the options that they considered was aliens, other country with this type of technology, or time travel. And they're like we're seeing shit from the future more now. This is probably a time, whatever.
Another thing
but
too.
That's a fourth one.
Yeah.
That is interesting that they didn't announce or bring up,
Yeah.
which is our government or government period even if it is other countries, ours too has shit that can do this.
Yeah.
And we're testing it more. And who's better to vouch for something like that than somebody that works at a company that literally makes shit for our government?
Yeah, exactly. And what was interesting to me about what you just said too was the fact that like a normal person on a Navy ship does not have clearance to know about that technology.
Right.
But they're going to be around that technology.
Because they're in the test space.
They're in the test space. They're in that industry. And even like other pilots, you think other pilots know what the fuck this technology, what technology they have? You have to have like probably like the highest of the highest clearance
to see that,
to even be able to even know it exists, let alone even see the product.
And multiple things can be true, right? So like the theories around why it's okay to say aliens now is real, like as far as the facts about who's in charge of what, as far as that division. Mm-hmm. But it also enables a scapegoat type of option. Yeah, for shit like this to be happening. Yep, once it happens and these Navy people are coming out and they don't have clearance to know and they're able to speak because they're saying maybe it's in the frame of aliens or something else or whatever. When they have this court hearing, the smartest people in the back behind the scenes of politics are like, that's a great scapegoat.
Yeah, exactly.
Because at this point, people are ready for that type of scapegoat.
Yeah.
And if it was like 90s or 80s, maybe people weren't ready for that type of scapegoat. But these days, not only are the people ready for that type of scapegoat, but that's better than if they know we have this type of technology.
Yeah, not just that, but other countries too.
To know that we have this type of...
It's dangerous.
Which gets into... Is that... because
so I do want to touch something on that real fast. So it's actually interesting because now that we're kind of going into this a little bit, now that I'm thinking... So they were saying... I don't know if you guys know, like drones... Like actual like physical drones that like the civilians use. Yeah. Those are like super, super great technology. And a lot of companies are talking about taking that technology and turning it into
a
like
big
airplane.
Motherfucker.
Like airplanes, like full on like aviation airplanes. If the government is already doing that, that right there could easily be explaining where they're going like this.
With not a body, there's not a person inside
of it.
So it can handle all that G-force.
Yeah,
because that was one of the
drones
things.
Can just sit there and go.
So one of the things was it has to be aliens because what soul could operate that
quickly
that can handle that type of G-force?
Yeah.
Or all you have to do is come up with the equipment, which we have, like spaceships and shit, that can handle that G-force. But way smaller. Oh my god, bro! We are gonna die. Like, we are gonna. Yo, guys, this Pocket Watch podcast. If we die, you know why.
That's funny.
I'm sorry, guys. Watch your backs after this episode.
But no, it was just
like,
crazy.
So you guys don't believe that there's aliens, though? Like,
honestly, I would be. I feel like you would be naive to say that there's nothing else that exists in this entire multi-universe system.
But what I like about this theory is it helps the other. So even if aliens exist, aliens meaning life outside of Earth, right? Mm-hmm. There is also parts of that conversation that's, are they smarter than us? And if they are smarter than us, and meaning if they're smart enough to reach us, which we're not smart enough to do, then they could go unseen.
Yeah.
But we're seeing shit. Mm-hmm. So now that's where those two sides of the conversation kind of align. Yeah. Where it's like, look, aliens exist. We're saying, one of the theories is we're actually having alien sightings, meaning they're smart enough to see us, but they're dumb enough for us to see them.
Yeah.
Right? But then the other theory is, there is life. They're just not smart enough to see us, or if they are smart enough, we can't see them for the most part. And then that aligns with the sightings is more so what we're saying as far as it's actual people doing testing.
No, I agree, because I feel like what could also be a case would be if, because they captured UFO things that UFOs that crashed before in the past. Yeah. They've actually captured them back like 75, 100 years ago. Okay. And my thing is, obviously, if you capture something with that kind of technology, you're going to try to replicate that. You're going to try to create your own version of it. So, I mean, they probably were aliens, and there probably is, but not as much as we assume them to be.
And that still aligns with that theory because that's not them being stupid. Yeah. That's something that died or somewhere far away, whatever the case is, however long ago, that happened to make it,
and that's
to Earth.
And that's interesting because technically, that spacecraft could have been traveling for millions of years.
Millions of years.
Shit.
For all we know,
before it even got into our solar system.
So that's like by happen chance that bumped into us, like whatever 1 in 1,000 billion, right?
Yeah.
Like, and then, but that's not them coming to see us. That's their scraps making it to us. And we can replicate that shit. Man, that feeds like that aligns in my mind
straight to everything.
Where's my tinfoil hat, brother? Where is it?
This is a fucking rabbit hole, bro.
But no, it's true. But when he told me that, he literally just got out of my car afterwards, and I'm sitting here and I'm like, oh my God, that kind of all makes fucking sense, bro. And he's got out of my car and went to go fucking have dinner.
Bro, and for that to be somebody that works at Lockheed Martin, who is better?
Yeah,
aerospace. Somebody that went through mad rabbit holes on YouTube,
and he helped build the F-35 fighter jet.
Right.
So like he's fucking around with the fucking fighter jets. He's in that.
You know what's hilarious is he thinks he's like, I'm just fucking like having fun conversations with Uber drivers and shit. He didn't know that motherfucker had a podcast.
You don't understand.
He got a podcast.
Yeah. But that shit was crazy.
They're going to do mad investigations on who took Ubers in Orlando within a certain round. That's all right. We'll help you out, buddy. We're not dropping this when we recorded it. You got at least a couple week window. Now you're fucked. I just gave that detail.
Damn, yeah, that's true. I didn't even think about that.
We're going to have mad Lockheed Martin
find
views.
your car.
The good thing is that we're not like millions of views per episode, so...
Our clips, though, we're clipping all of that shit.
He's like, we're going to expose him. You're going to have somebody fucking knocking on my fucking door, some CIA agent.
And I'm putting him on TikTok.
Some fucking...
You can't regulate that shit.
Some men in black is like, hey, are you Zachary? Yes.
Well, make sure you're recording them while you're doing it.
It's okay. You can't wipe our shit. Imagine they wipe it and they... I start getting random DMs like, yo, why'd you delete last episode? And we're all talking shit. Like, what do you mean last episode? Who deleted what episode?
Yeah, you fucking time travel goes back. Never take the fucking ride with the guy.
Guys, all right, let's move this on. I'm getting scared. But we're moving on, but not so much. So the other thing I was thinking about, and it's in relation to the government, like advancing and having like better quality shit or whatever. But like, what you were talking about with the Putin. So, what was that again with Putin?
So Vladimir Putin, he's Putin. But anyways, it was the International Criminal something. I forgot the name of the agency, but it's basically like an international agency.
It's like a court. It's an international court.
Yeah, basically they put out a warrant for Vladimir Putin's arrest for war crimes, and what it was is because I guess they have evidence that he was kidnapping children from Ukraine.
And he was doing a bunch of things that are against the rules, pretty much.
Yeah. And actually, something else I wanted to add while we're talking. Russia the other day actually damaged one of our drones.
Right.
And what happened was that the drone was flying, and the Russian fighter jet came flying over towards it, and purposely like came flying right at it. They thought it was going to collide, and last second pulled up, and you can dump fuel.
Yeah. And
he dumped fuel all over the fucking fighter jet, and he did it multiple times. I think he did it like 3 times, maybe 2 times. The second time he went over it, he damaged like a bunch of like a bunch of the camera equipment and stuff like that. He damaged a bunch of it, and he was dumping fighter jet fuel all over the fucking all over the drone. And so like he technically didn't attack it, but it was a purposeful.
It was fucking around.
It wasn't like he fucking blew the shit up, but that right there can be taken as like definitely aggression.
Yeah.
And it was like in a mutual international airspace.
It was a black sea,
so it wasn't like they were like in Russian territory flying this drone. It was
all right. So you take that warrant going out for Putin. You take that story where they technically took out one of our drones. You take the balloons from China, shit like that, right? So you add all that up, and that's where people are talking about like we might be on the brink of another world war.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I mean,
China's meeting with Russia.
I would like to say that we could.
That's what we know. What's really going on?
Yeah, I would like to say that we would be able to resolve it and not go down the rabbit hole of World War III.
I do not want that.
No, absolutely. Especially with our fucking banking systems collapsing right now. The last thing we need is our fucking banking systems collapsing. United States is out of money.
Back to rations.
Yeah, it's just crazy, man.
But I don't want a war, but this is a podcast, so we're going to talk about butt for a second.
Okay.
we were just talking about all the innovations and stuff that the government has before us or whatever. Nothing fuels innovation like war.
Oh yeah,
right. So even the Cold War that we had with Russia, where there was no actual war, nobody really died or anything because of it, but we innovated so much during that time in case of war.
Yeah,
right?
World War I, World War II, that was like the most biggest innovation for the aviation industry. The dogfights back then, so that got so powerful. The aviation industry got so powerful off of that dogfights are basically no longer even like a big thing like that because of how crazy the technology is nowadays.
Word. So like while I don't want a war, I am interested to see what we come up with during this time.
It was funny because I talked to Melissa about this when I saw the Vladimir Putin thing, and I was like, shit, because currently right now, if you want to become a pilot through the military, you got to dedicate 10 years to the Air Force. And
really?
I'm not willing to do that, but I'm like, if we go to war and they're like, hey, if you come fight for a year, you can be a pilot. I'm like, I told Melissa, I'm like, I might be signing up for the Air Force to be a pilot for 1 year. Because you leave the Air Force as a fucking fighter jet pilot, you can get hired anywhere you want. You can basically say, I want to work at Delta. And it's like, okay, come. That's done. Signed.
And some people like poke at, and I don't want to some people poke at like the type of benefits military vets get, right? Mm-hmm. And when you say military vet, that's a broad term. Because I don't think people poke at the guy that put 20 years in the Marines and shit like that or whatever. Mm-hmm. Nobody pokes at that. But like some people do poke at, like even in my MBA program, there's like 3 or 4 people that did 4 years and they're getting free school. You know what I mean? Which I don't poke at, right? Like at all. But those are the type of people that are like, damn, like you get everything paid for now just because you did 4 years or some shit like that, whatever the case is. But I never poke at that for that.
The GI Bill only covers up to your bachelor's though, right?
No, they're getting their master's done. Maybe they're doing a couple more years or something like that. But
I thought the GI Bill only covers 4 years, but I could be wrong. I could be incorrect.
There's like 4 or 5 people that I met in my program.
Well, maybe whenever you're active duty, because I know you can go to school while you're active.
So
I think that's free, and I think once you get out, you utilize your GI Bill.
That's exactly it, because they're all just done.
Okay,
and
so
they're trying to execute this program before that ends up.
Maybe that's what it is. Maybe that's.
But still, I'm like, yo, we need, if anything, more benefits, because there's actually too many stories about vets not getting the help they need or whatever the case is.
Yeah,
but we need money. Like when we talk about government money and funding of the military, like I know it's not always seen in the best light, but if part of that funding is making sure those that participate are good, and I agree with that, because if you think about it, when we had one of the last world wars, we definitely didn't have the amount of people we have, right? Like, and that was another interesting thing. Like, I think in the 70s we had 170 million. We are at like 330 or something like that million right now. We got like almost double what we had back then. But there was a draft. We had to have a draft. If you're 18 or older, you're a male, whatever the case is. My grandpa got drafted into the military or whatever. And it's like, we don't want that. I don't want that. You know what I mean? And I also don't want that, because I don't want that to be who's fighting for America. I want badasses. I don't want some kid that got drafted and he's 19 years old playing video games in his mom's attic or some shit like that, or basement. You know what I mean? Like, that's another reason why I don't want to draft. But that's what it takes to not have to draft, is offering an incentive to participate. Yeah. Right, like we'll pay for your school, we'll do this, we'll do that, because it's not fun.
Hey, just give me all my flight hours, bro. Give me 1 year. I'll give you all my time.
So that's why I'm grateful that, and I hope it gets better and better, because when it does come wartime, we got motherfuckers that's been training and shit not in wartime, ready for shit like that.
Whenever I told Melissa that, she's like, "But what if you get killed?" I'm like, "They gonna have to outfight me, dog. we gonna be going to war. They gonna have to beat me."
That's something too. Which, like, let's just say we're in a world war, big war, and the optics are let's just say Russia trying to take us out. Let's just say that's the optics or something, right? Like, we need a different type of player in this big three. Is the optics of the world war or some shit like that. Okay. And Russia's doing their shit, which is why we're against them, but China is with Russia to take us out. That's the optics. Let's just say that, right? And we draft. Because America, that's another thing. We're one of the countries that it's okay not to support your country. Like, we're the country that you come here to support the country you came from. Yeah. You come here to be like, fucking, I'm from, where you from? Where you from? Where you from? Like, that's a common statement in America. That's not necessarily a top 5 question when you meet somebody in other countries. Because they know, like, or if they ask that, they're talking about cities or something.
And also because we also live in Orlando, which is like a huge melting pot. You go in the Midwest, it's a lot different.
Oh, yeah, but also that's New York, Cali, Orlando.
All the major cities.
All the major cities. And that's more people than...
more population.
That's America. You know what I mean?
That's probably like easily 60-70% of the population.
But when you talk about drafting, that scares me because there's so many people that,
If you have a green...
Don't fuck with America, but live here. You know what I mean?
If you have a green card, are they viable for being drafted too, even though they're not considered
I don't
citizens?
know the case. But my question is, would you guys volunteer or be okay with being drafted if that was...
It would only depend. If you could put me in the Air Force aviation industry, I might sign up.
I'm sure you go through a process if you get drafted, just like you're joining the military.
But my thing is, bro, you can choose whether you want to go Marine or you want to go Air Force.
Right. Yeah.
So like if I volunteer, do I get to choose still, or y'all just gonna throw me a Marine? Because I ain't cut out to be a Marine. Y'all Marines are different.
I don't know, man.
But if they were like, hey, like we need you for 2 years for the war or something like that, as Air Force, you could be a fighter jet. I'll be like, where do I sign right now?
Yeah.
I love you, baby. Bye.
Word, bro. Yeah, I don't know. I think I would, and I imagine it like you're just joining and you could pick. But I guess if you would do great. Wartime,
you would do great for the Navy.
Drafted.
You would do great in the Navy. You love men.
Yeah, I would. Oh man,
I love men on boats.
I'm just kidding, guys. I'm just kidding.
I would have so many bunkmates.
Everybody be like, I want to bunk with Cruz. Anywho, just joking, guys. Relax.
I gotta take a piss.
Ain't low-key.
No way, really?
Yeah.
Can you hold it?
I can, but I think we're good. I think that was a good... Shit's going on. Crazy shit's happening, bro.
Wasn't there something else that we were going to get into?
I had a funny one.
All right, let's get into that.
And it's not really funny, but it's an interesting thing to talk about.
I'm going to buy you like one of those little fucking things that you can attach to yourself and you can just pee and have a little tube on the side.
Oh, I'll start peeing in a can if I have to, bro.
Let's put it right
you
here.
put like a little thing around your your shit, and then you put a little tube.
There's like little boxes. There's like little boxes that you can wear,
and then you put into a cup.
Right. What do you guys think about this video? And this is people shit on video games all the time for a lot of reasons. I kind of like this take. Video games and porn create a false sense of accomplishment. Here's the problem: achieving virtual milestones and getting rushed in dopamine from pixelated bodies and men beyond belief or whatever. Oh, wait. Pixelated bodies weaken men beyond belief. Imagine what you could accomplish if you put the same energy into real life goals. And I'm not going to front, man. Like, I do feel it's like winning a game or getting a certain KD ratio or something like that. Or masturbating to porn. It's kind of like feeling like you put yourself in that situation without actually living that situation a little bit, right?
I kind of, but I don't know if it's the same thing for you guys. And I know I've said this before in the podcast.
I don't know if porn should have been grouped into that.
But every time I do masturbate, when I finish, I always kind of feel like a little bit disgusted. Mm-hmm. And I
never do.
You never do?
No, I feel I look at it like taking a walk.
Like, okay.
Like I just helped my mental just now.
No, for me it's not like that. For me, once I'm done, I'm like, okay, let me wash my fucking hands and blah blah blah. You
piece of shit,
right?
Yeah.
Especially
no, but video games that's a good one though, because it's like people.
I can see that.
Now, when you translate that to Twitch or something like that, and you can actually make some money off that shit, or you're doing tournaments, that's a little different. But also, like, there's a lot of people that live in the virtual world, their video games, and they're totally cool with not achieving any real life success because of the achievements that they're making on the video game that they're playing.
And I feel like that's good. I feel like as well as, if it's a hobby, it's different than if it's like your full time, like you're just playing on the video game. So for instance, like a hobby,
but the thing is, though,
playing an hour.
You don't get into the full time industry without making it a hobby and going through that hobby stage first.
Well, not really. I mean, because some people can have a hobby of drawing.
No, but just
cooking,
in general,
or, like.
But what I'm saying is you can't become a professional gamer without putting in a lot of.
No, but what I'm saying, all right. So Zach's kind of speaking to getting into a point of monetizing, and you're kind of speaking of just using it as a hobby. I agree with both of those, right? Where I think this is interesting is the high school men, the college men of this generation that are able to actually seek achievements and accomplish goals outside of real life. And that's where you're seeing more and more, like, the kids, the dudes that are nerds or playing video games and shit like that and don't really care as much about what they do in the outside life. And I think that does hurt. Like our generation, low key, there's a lot of our friends that we know that are like that, or family members. Also, the younger generation and shit like that, where there is going to be a good portion of society that does care more about those virtual accomplishments than real life accomplishments. And it's weird. That is a society shift. Yeah. Right there.
Yeah, I would say like in a general sense, I think it does apply, especially in the video game aspect.
Yeah.
I can't relate to the porn aspect of it, but
no, me neither.
But
me neither. We're on the boat.
Maybe I'm just being like naive in that sense. But
I love porn.
I think it also kind of boils down to like the individual, because I feel like if you're an individual that's not disciplined and don't really have any goals to begin with, anything that you do,
I agree,
is going to be affected. You know what I mean?
It's a society switch in a way where there's a common story told these days where it's like when I was a kid, everybody was outside playing basketball, or we were in the backyards playing football and shit like that. Yeah. These days, you don't see kids out like that. No, but that's the society switch of, I don't need to beat somebody in basketball today, or I don't need to go beat a kid in a race outside with in the neighborhood anymore today, because I can accomplish the goal of a KD ratio, or winning the Super Bowl in Madden, or doing something. You know what I mean? Like
some kind of game accomplishment.
So, but the argument there would be
replaces that.
But the argument there would be, would the sports also give you a sense of false achievement too? Because does that really help you out to be better in life?
It's better than, like, I think going to play pickup basketball and winning, like, that ratio of how you win and lose helps you in every aspect of your life more than your ratio on your online gaming.
Agree.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
it also depends on what kind of life you're going for, though, too.
True, 100%. But in a way that you in real life can do something better than what you did on a video game. Now, do I think there's benefits in being good on a video game? I think like being it fuels good that competitive drive, like,
good communication, good teamwork, learning how to do teamwork.
Maybe that's a bad example, but more so, I'll compare it. How about this? How you feel about your win ratio on the courts or racing outside and stuff like that is better than how you feel about, let's just say, a KD ratio on Call of Duty, because those are like separate things. Now, a lot of our friends care a lot about their KD ratio on Call of Duty, right? But they also care more about, if they go to the courts, what their win-loss ratio is, right? Yeah. But there's a generation that never went to the courts, really. And our generation, when we're young, we had to be outside. But we also, in our young adulthood, have all these video games. So our generation's different. We're weird that way. But like younger, one could supplement the other. Like if we grew up 5-10 years later, there's a good chance some of us aren't outside like we were, and we cared more about, like, I'm a young adult and I care about a franchise in Madden. You know what I mean? Imagine if I was a kid, and that was available when we were kind of kids, but the technology wasn't the same as today, where you could literally replace a real life event with a video game. You know what I mean? Like, it is so good now, depending on your imagination and shit like that.
That's a difficult one, man. Yeah,
I fuck with video games too.
I fuck with video games too. Like, the thing is, though, I don't like my KD shit. All I would play is one game. Yeah. It's only Call of Duty. My KD shit.
My Xbox just started working again.
Yeah. Yeah. And I don't know, like, that whole, like,
in my mind, that point explains why there's this new generation is different, if anything. I think that was the point that best explains why this new generation is a little different. Is you're replacing real life accomplishments with virtual accomplishments. Like, I think at its core, that's the best point why there's more video game nerds.
Social media, Twitter, I got this many followers, I got this many likes. I mean, it's always been virtual accomplishments for a lot of people in our society. I mean, the growing society.
That's engagement. What I was
gonna say. A lot of people are stuck in social media.
It's all virtual. It's all been virtual since they've been born.
Those are virtual achievements. Oh, I got 10,000 followers. That's a virtual achievement.
I got this many likes on a song. I got this person to comment. I got this person to mention. It's always been this virtual kind of accomplishment for a lot of the younger generations.
I guess some you could see the translation to money easier than others, though. Like video games,
than followers.
Obviously. Yeah, but a lot of people that work in the tech industry are big gamers, and tech industry pays big fucking money, bro.
That's true.
When I do closings, and I meet up with people, and some of the people who I met up with that make the most money, and I'm talking about like making $20,000-$30,000 a month.
Yeah.
are fucking
Big
little
gamers.
little fucking tech little geek guys.
Maybe
and
that-
they're fucking bagging money.
That
bro.
does help change the thought of society too. Of like, it does heighten how we view virtual achievements.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody, and for good or bad, like social media, whatever the case is, like that's true.
My older brother's a big gamer guy. Growing up, he was a big gamer, all into anime and all stuff like that. And he makes a killing with his tech business too.
Right.
So I mean, like,
Tech is the number
Right.
one.
and it's just going to keep growing.
It's
So
gonna keep
I
growing.
mean,
It's technology.
I think it more so has to do with individual. Because I know a lot of people who don't play no fucking video games and don't do shit with their life.
Right.
And I know people who play video games and do a lot with their life. So it's kind of like I can see where they're trying to come up with that point, and I can see how it can apply to a good majority of people. But I know a lot of people who don't even play video games. That all they do is play basketball.
Yeah.
And are fucking bums.
Bums. Yeah.
All they do is smoke weed, play basketball, work at fucking Walmart,
And
and
they're
doing
still
nothing.
fucking bums.
And they're bums. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So I can kind of see like where it both comes from, but that's just kind of where I don't think it can. I think it might play a factor, but I think it's also more so the individual themselves.
Yeah,
I'm with you.
agree.
I just think it's a lot easier for like an individual that is not disciplined so like that to easily turn on a video game and kill time
Yeah.
than go out and do something. So I think that you might have more people that tend to fall into the video game like statistic for that, just because it's easier to do and more like
Effective. And,
it kind of takes off your mind a little bit more. So you might just have more people that gravitate towards that more. But I don't think that specific thing, video games, is the cause of it though. You
Yeah.
get what I'm saying? That's what I'm trying to get at. I don't know. That's how I think about it.
I'm with you. I think we had a great episode, man. I think we hit like 4 or 5 different topics very hard. I'm super excited for these clips, boy.
Happy fucking 2 years, my dudes.
2 years.
Hell yeah, man. That's a fucking huge achievement, man. 2-year milestone. We've been at this shit for a minute now, man. And we appreciate you guys, man. It's crazy. We've gotten old, man, since we started this.
Yeah, man. I was
come
talking to
on.
Kristan, like a lot of the first 20 episodes I was talking about going for the CPA. That's long gone now.
Yeah, man. You're already like halfway
Masters.
through your program.
Yeah. So this is dope, man. This is amazing. I got a huge chub right now because I'm really trying to hold this piss in right now.
Oh, yeah.
And for the 2 years. But yo, thank you for listening. I'm
Like,
proud
follow.
of us.
Share, subscribe.
No, wait. Thank you for listening. Pocket Watch Podcast. You already know. Laugh at us, learn with us. We're here to grow. Make sure you
Ooh.
like.
Follow.
Share.
See what I say? It goes boom, boom, boom. boom, boom, boom.
Jacob got ADHD.
Make sure you like,
Follow.
Share.
subscribe,
Tell your mom,
Comment.
tell your dad again.
Sister.
brother.
All right. Sorry, guys. We'll get better at
All
that.
right, guys.
We'll
Pocket Watch
fix this.
Podcast. We out.
Out.
Love y'all. We out.